Hi guys, it's Kimberly from As the Cards Turn Tarot. I'm going to be looking at a me and you spread. So we're just going to look at the energies in crystal form, and then in the cards in crystal form, we'll look at some blocks in that, me and you. You could choose sides. I prefer you to be you and then them. Okay, so, but if it resonates, take what resonates. Okay, let's get going. This is you. Well, you're very creative. You're very protected. You feel comfortable. You feel lighter. There's a good energy to you. It might be something that you had to look at that had to be strategically placed, I want to say. Okay, let's see. Or maybe there was a disagreement or a protection not to get into a disagreement. Well, they're being very observant. They're hoping and wishing, kind of an energy, hoping and wishing. Because at 9 o'clock they have a green adventure, and they got a lot more healing that they're not talking about at 4 and 5 o'clock. We have a smoky crystal at 7 o'clock, which would be the Cancerian. This could be a water sign that you're looking at: Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I do feel water. Could be an Aries, but at a distance, because I'm getting the star energy. Let's see what we're getting with crystals and cards. There's a playful energy. Hematite. Ground yourself. And that's you. And I felt that right away with you, whoever you are. You're very grounded. It's a good energy to have. It's like I said, you're trying to prevent an argument. Like you're reading the other person, and you're catching their energy, and you already are transmuting it into knowing something ain't right. Something's not right. Like there's a final decision here. Like somebody's mask fell off. Could be them. What's the energy for them? Well, black tourmaline, which, okay. Get laser focused. What are they focused on? Because there's a lot of dark healing here. Things that they're not saying, they're not speaking about, and then it's protect your energy. And I'm going to give that to you because it's similar, but a softer protection. Not so rigid, where that could be placed probably with some truth. All right. Practice patience. You've been very patient with this. It says find place within, shuck night, detox. So, you looked at something and seen someone's true colors, whoever you're dealing with. They're trying to heal things, their communication is boggled. Take what resonates. Take the top one and the bottom one. Bloodstone. It says get up and get moving, and then soothe your soul. So if you have the energy present to deal with this person, it helps you in a lot of ways that maybe you're not speaking with, and they know it too, because they're holding something. Is it a manipulative energy? I don't know. I really can't tell you at this point, but I'm leaning towards that. Tiger's Eye. Overcome your fears, and then Jade, be the bigger person. Is that what you're doing? And that's what I feel. You're being the bigger person by not trying to get into a fight. And you notice this energy likes to tango with that. Yeah, Labradorite. You see it. See the magic. And I don't think they like that you can figure them out. One more for that. One more for that spirit guides for the me and you. Never ending. Sorry, me and you. Lapazuli. Make a decision. You know, and I think that's the energy between you. They're not giving me any more energy with them because I think you've seen it, you know. They wear a lot of scars, and we all do. It's bringing me to the scars. But it's also bringing me to triggering with it, using it in a not nice manner. That's what I'm getting at, using it in a not nice manner. All right. You know, it could be a money dispute too, you know, because it says let your money flow in. You know, there's a block here, there's a separation, there's an X in this, you know, and you have that here on your side, same energy. Oops. So you're taking hits left and right, keeping your mouth quiet, you know, not saying nothing, taking the digs. That's all I'm hearing. Let's see why this Lapazuli's here. Make a decision. Can they have? For this is for them both. We'll do this side for you. For you. Okay. Well, there's something that, you know, you wanted to walk away in and then you didn't. You know, abandonment, walking away, letting go, withdrawal, retreat, travel, moving on. Disappointed in something, loneliness, and self-discovery. Which I felt that here, in the ability to not be pulled into another person's energy and or drama. Another cups. You know, let's get for them. For them. Why is the pyrite present? For them. For me and you reading. Why is it for the you? Me and you. Well, it's communication. It happens and then it doesn't. And then there's quick communication and there's no real action behind it. Quick communication and halt in action. Quick communication and halt in action. I said it 3 times. Someone's not using their judgment, you know, with it. We've got doubt, forsaking, vacation, ignoring. You know, it could be phone calls being ignored. All that stuff, you know, that comes with it. You know, this could be a friend energy. You know, childhood memories are here. So it could be a long me and you. There's some nostalgia with it. There's some kindness, there's softness, and then it switches. And I think that's why the pyrite's there. And creatively with the Lapazuli, you are taking it and even you can see it before it happens with this person. You can see it, so it's quick cutting off, quick to the chase, you know, like that. Yeah. I definitely see money on the board. You know, I definitely see money. Unexpected financial windfall, stable family security, wealth, abundance, balance, healthy life, inheritance, settling down. You know, maybe this person is secure in that manner. You know, you got a 10 there. So, something come to an end. It's, you know, there was no movement in it. And it almost gave them a spark because there was. See, you have an idea and then it's a halt. It goes nowhere. An idea, it's a halt. And I think that goes with this communication here. And it's a halt there for something. And you already knew it. That's why you were walking away here. It's head games. And it challenges you. How do you feel about it? How do they feel about it? Pile A, how do they feel about it? Hold. Well, they don't want to see it go, you know. There's a hold there, you know. There's defeat, deception, surrender, humiliation, aggression, bullying, lack of communication, which I said right here. You know, that's how the peaceful resolution, there's a compromise on the other side, and you don't see that. There's a block here. Like that. Pile A. The Fool. You're not moving and it came upside down. You're not taking a risk with something because you know that the passion in their words is something behind it. They're not using their judgment because they got the judgment card upside down. Okay? That's, they have doubt. They're ignoring something. You're calling somebody out on something and they're ignoring it. Quick grounding here. Well, you're very standardly grounded. You're very methodical. You want an answer. You want the truth. Typical Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. And they're playing with communication here. Yeah, and you're getting defensive and you're protecting yourself, and you know what I mean? This is taking a lot out of you to do this. But the road's going to be a little difficult. There's something of a commitment here. There's frustration here. There's protecting. Drained of energy. You realize that, this person drains your energy. And I think that's why Lapizuli's here. And also up here, remember we started with that, with the black tourmaline. Which would take the energies, just think about the ocean. I mean, the black tourmaline is in the ocean when it crashes, so it softens the blow. So I don't know if you're trying to find kindness here with the rose quartz sitting on that. It's trying to do it with kindness. A lot of miscommunication. A lot of miscommunication. Let's see what the energy between you is. Other than a decision. A Knight of Wands. You being hasty, energetic, and then charming, and then warm, and then excited, and then fearless, confident, open-minded. So you're very close, and you think you could tell each other a lot of things that you're juggling, but they're trying to plant the things you juggled upside down, lost between the cracks, things you might not have triumphed through, and that's what they're bringing in with this Knight of Wands heading across that bridge, and you're cutting it to the path with saying no. Yeah, you got a new beginning coming up. What's happening with them? Pile B. Well, the first card out is the Hangman. You could be dealing with a Pisces. Okay, you could be a Pisces. Let's see what's going on. There's something of a home. There's something, moving on. You got moving and a new beginning. Something of a new start. A plan of a new start. A celebration of something. And they know you're waiting. And then the King of Wands comes in. And then it leaves you out in the cold here. Teamwork, learning, creation, determination, goals, building on success. A tradesperson, motivation, skills. Is there something that you're committed to try to stabilize, or they are? And what are they waiting for? Other than movement. It could be in passion, right? And then there's a message that they came in passion with you and you didn't like it, you repelled it with the black tourmaline here. So they're thinking of a way to work together, clarifying gifts, donations, grants, scholarships, support, employment, fairness, kindness, sharing wealth, investor, being valued, reward. So, I have that on your side. And then there's a choice. And you feel it's not a victory. You think it's just a pent-up energy, a wishy-washy energy that you're not going to trap yourself in with the Eight of Swords here. You think it's wishy-washy with the Nine of Cups here. Yes, it's a wish, but you also have this upside down, which is a victory. This would have been a victory. So is there something that, publicly, or something that maybe you're in the public eye, or somebody's in the public eye and they care? There's something that, I don't know. There's miscommunication here. It's being used in a manner that I don't quite like. You know, there's the decision again with the Lovers. And I wanted to take the soulmate energy off the board. Yeah, there's no strength upside down. And I wanted to put it on their side. I mean, they you know, how you feel about a new beginning. Let me get a new deck. You know, on the bottom of it's a Nine of Cups. So a message, I'm sure they're going to spit something out to do with emotions. Because I'm asking how this new beginning is affecting you. And I think there's a, if not a temporary, but a final decision to walk away. Because this is what you're weighing, a new beginning. You already started with the walking away early on. Let's see. Hold. Yeah. You know, you take it with a grain of salt. You're doing it with grace. You have the Chariot here. You know, you have a lot of new beginnings with the Ace of Pentacles, clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. Sorry. I don't know why. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles. Don't mind my hands, I paint. This card represents happiness, something that you like to do, something, you know, like that the girl's playing spoons in there, you know. So, something that you like to do. You worked hard on a movement with this. You just feel you're not letting the swords go in the back anymore. There's, you know, a stabbing. There's a betrayal energy there that's strong. And that's why the Nine of Wands came out here too. That's how you feel. You know, and you're tired of going around the negative and the positive, and then it's like walking on eggshells. Because you could see somebody's game before they spit it out, before they attempt to put it into action. You cut it off right. You already see it coming. It could be empathic, could be psychic. Well, we got this upside down. When I said psychic, it's the Three of Pentacles. Something's not working. Something's not coming together. That's how you feel in this whole situation. You would rather not work on it, you know. Take your losses and go because you know that you have something worthwhile about yourself. Okay, you're not waiting. You know, you got the Star upside down, you know, so you're not willing to go to the distance to heal this any longer. You know, there's something that you feel bad with. It's almost guilt. I feel guilt. Yeah, Star energy again. And then you got the High Priestess too. So you think that this person is hiding something, and it's not strong what they're hiding. You think that they just reflect and try to project negative to you. You're catching it. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're catching it. You're just waiting for it. You want to work together at times. At times you are committed, and then you're not. Then you cut it off. Page of Swords. Why is the Page of Swords present? Yeah, we got... That's why. Because you got deception. You've got sneakiness. You've got lying. You've got stealing. You know... And, you know, and holding grudges and juggling. This is what they're presenting. And it's a sneaky way to leave you in an energy of not yourself. And drained. And, you know, like the card said. But you have, like, this is why I really believe this is here. This Black Renegade. Oh, sorry. You know, it has the ability to repel. You've got a lot of that. Boom, right off the jump here. Sometimes they come playful. You don't know how to take it, but I think that you have recognized enough that there's an inner head game that you don't like. So I would call this head game at 1938. Let's see what the blocks are. Pile A, blocks. Pile A. For blocks. Well, you thought about it for a while here, you know. You got the Princess of Spirit. The High Priestess, the knowing, you know, almost Emperor's energy. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. Self-worth here you have. Let me have 3 for B, please. 3 for B. 3 cards for B. And a me and you reading. 3 cards for B. Why is the juggling upside down here? What's the block of juggling upside down? Well, we've got lust on the top board and taking the 2 bottom. They're standing on something. You know, they want you to do like an obedience type of thing, you know, wishing. You've got wishing and 9 of Cups and wishing. And I'm not taking that as a good wishing. You know, I'm sorry, I'm not. You know, this person is not seeing something, what they're doing. You know, they refuse to look at it. They think that this is a strategy that they use. Because usually that means, you know, confidence. But there's a vision here. And they don't listen. You know, they have a main goal. High Priestess of Water. You know, to plant something. And I don't think it's... Yeah, we've got invisible upside down. Something they're not seeing. Something they're really not really gonna foresee to do. So a promise of some sort that's just like, yeah, I'll be there for you, and then not. So it leaves you seeking, and the last minute changes their mind over here with the 8 of Wands, with the Knight of Wands that's upside down. And, you know, you figured I'm worth better than this, right? That's not loyalty because it's reversed. Yeah, you know, maybe they feel a sense of denial. You know, they're not looking at it. You know, they lost a piece of their fragments, you know, so they they play on heartstrings. Message. They play on heartstrings. Outcome for A. A reminder of who you are, you know, and how rigid, you know, this really is. And you're the warrior. You survived it, so you stopped it before it started. You've been working on this for a minute, you know, because you're just about had it with that wounded warrior there. These are 2 final cards. There's a risk. You know, we'll look at that at the end of the reading, because I just want to get one more clarifier on some of these cards. So we'll look at those 2 at the end. That's the probable outcome, because there's some kind of risk you both want to take. There's a risk. Can I have 1 card for A and B? A first. What's the risk? Letting go of something. Actually changing forever. Did the buttons push too far? Did you go too far is what I'm feeling. Did you go too far with a risk? Zodiac, speak your truth. Did you go too far with something that you speak your truth with? Let's see what they said. For pile B, can I have 1 card for pile B, please? 1 card for pile B. No. Maybe they said a lot. You know, you do have the Black Knight. See strong boundaries. And it was upside down. I mean, sorry, set strong boundaries. And it was upside down. So maybe they didn't expect you to do that because you cut through something. Look at that stone. See, you put that block right there, that line right through it. Between yous. Bloodstone again pulled out. Get up and get moving. You know, It's a energy. Yes, typically I'll help you. I'll do this. You know, I'm gonna, like, for instance, examples. So if somebody had to give you a ride or something, and then they canceled at the last minute, it really left you struggling. They're getting pleasure out of that. Blue Lace, the gate. So you got two truths here. I don't know what that is, but a gate. You know, you started with it over here with the black ring. You know, and then you got Blue Lace, a gate, which is find your calm. So they enjoy it. Why? Why? Can I have one more on why for A? Why does A feel like that? Why does A feel like that? Fool. Taking a risk. Again. In movements. You know, they're like, mama raised no fool. You know. Let's see what their side brings out, please, for B. Okay. Again, Seven of Swords. I can't even. Seven of Swords. Yeah. Leaving you trapped in something. What's on the other side here? Yeah. And wounded. Again, that energy. What's... Yeah, there's no, somebody's getting justice, or, you know, there's injustice in something. You know, there's injustice in, you know, they could be watching you online. They could be getting paperwork. I keep seeing paperwork, you know, like for a long time. Yeah, a long time. And you're finally done. Oh, sorry, guys. And you're finally done. Look, they let there be light. Really, honestly, because you're done. When you get that 10, you know, you get the justice card, you're done with something. And I think you're okay with this movement. It's very extraordinary reading for me and you. There's a lot of miscommunication, you know, there's a lot of thinking about each other with the meditation card here. But you're resisting toxic for A. And for them, they're not seeing the tower and the loss yet, but they will. They will, is that right? You'll see the loss. So, let's look at this one card that's going to go with the black card. Yep. Top one. Underneath that, you got something that's not stable. I put it back in the deck. Okay. You could be dealing with a Queen of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. One for their card for A now. For A card, the A card that we're going to look at now. That's on the board. A card. Clarifier for that. Pile A. Wow. There it goes again. Queen of Cups. You know, there's unspoken love there. And then it's a closed deck. See how they did that? The one underneath that was working together. Resisting toxic. Resisting toxic, which is good. Let's look at that card. This is for your side. You got the Princess of Fire. Knowing, you know, confident, successful, you know, beautiful, knows what they're doing, knows that they're wounded, knows that, could see the energy, like, not so fast. See the look on her face, like, oh, they think they're getting away with that. You know, oh, they're going to approach me like that. You know what I mean? Like that. Okay, here's yours. And I don't know why I have two here, but well, look, that was a sense of belonging and letting go and the denial, how they felt. And here's their hidden card, Strength, reversed. It was reversed. Which I don't usually use, so maybe you're helping them with a life lesson that they, you know, along the way. I mean, there's a reason for everything, right? So, you know, this person does a lot alone. You know, they went through a lot. You know, they're in denial. They're juggling stuff upside down, and I think that's you. And I think you already seen it, and it's over. You found love for yourself. You know, you're very, very confident. You can read blocks. You take lots of risks. And you have justice coming your way because you've been very wounded. You know, they gained strength. You thought things would change. You thought things would change. You thought their actions weren't going to be toxic. And time again, it was a tower moment that they're coming with, right? You got the bloodstone over here with get moving. So it's like action. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then no, 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 no. There's communication that never gets resolved. There's past communication that they're standing on, using it to try and trigger, to change your energy, and they're left with a lot of your energy that you wasted. Take it or leave it. Yeah. See, and they don't even apologize, they just drain you. They don't move, they juggle a lot of fantasies, you know. The judgment is wishy-washy, the communication is wishy-washy, and you're just slowly but surely you came to a point where you were like, I'm done, and you came to an end. The Fool energy. You spoke your truth with passion, but you didn't lose control of the passion. You kept, they didn't get you to spit fire. Sneakiness. And that was the justice, that you didn't spit fire. You didn't let them have it, you know, because you're dealing with fire on the board. You're dealing with Aries, Leo, Sag. It could be your Mars placement. You can look at that, you know. Cancer placement. Look at that, too. You know, we got a Capricorn energy here. We've got sharp cutting words. We've got take it back without no meaning, only to repeat it. We've got plenty of new beginnings, plenty of risks that were or chances given. And, you know, and this is the result. You get the truth back in your face. You know, you get the kyanite that's back in your face. You get the detox. You get the, you know, so there's something that you're looking at that's like done. On the bottom of this board, you know, again, stealing, deceit, lies, cheating. You know, there's an energy of that with the King of Cups backing up that Queen of Cups. Yeah, they don't even worry about it, so why would you? So, I mean, this is a really, you know, maybe there's new love coming to A, and they're not too happy with your decision. But they use celebrating as a master movement to get to you. So I don't know what that is, man. Master movement, yeah. Yeah, they do. Ace of Swords, they half-truths and half-truths. And I think you've just about had enough. You know, Page of Pentacles, you had enough. Slow and surely, steadily, you've been watching, cutting it off, and they're not happy about it. They're like, wow, you really, really changed. Whoever you are here, you really, really changed. You know, and they know it. You're dealing with a lot, too, whoever's in this pile here. You know, I try to keep it me. It's me and you, you know. But do what you like to do, you know. You know, for instance, like I love to paint. Yeah, this is a long reading, but do what you like to do. I had a good reading. I hope this works out. I hope, you know, some of these things are talked about between whoever this people are. You know, resolution comes. You don't have to be rigid to walk away. You know, so that says that clearly in pile A. You know, but I really think you made a decision to put it down, and that's what we're ending with. This is like, you know, the pattern. It's over. It's over. You're like, it's over. You know it. And you didn't do it rigidly. You did it with like, just please, you know, please, let's just give each other time. You thought of something creative to say. Well, they didn't say nothing at all. Only but past issues, just to have you seek the past, to feel bad, to do something like that, to disrupt your energy, to drain your energy. So this could be a friend, this could be a family member, this could be a couple, you know. It could be a co-worker, you know, there's some pentacles on the board, you know. So, you know, whatever it is for you, if you're doing something you enjoy, keep doing it. Keep practicing, keep doing it. So, something too with that painting that I did. A lot of you just don't know, but I like to play spoons. So I painted myself playing spoons. So be creative. It makes you feel better. And I think they're seeing this, you know. They got a message. We got the message card too. Alright guys, take care. Now if I can say goodbye. See you later. Well, it's not turning off the energy. What does that mean?